Please welcome to yet another webinar by Maharashtra Seva Sangh, Vidnyan Vibhag. And members of the audience who have turned on their video, once again I would request to please turn off your video. You will find the cam icon below. Please turn off your videos. And we will be starting with the session now. My colleague Zai Kulkarni would be the host for today's session. The speaker for today's session is Mrs. Preeti Rodricks. Over to Zai now.
Good morning, one and all. I, Zai Kulkarni, volunteer of Vidnyan Vibhag, welcome to the webinar on the dealing with the lockdown organized by the Maharashtra Seva Sangh, Vidnyan Vibhag. Maharashtra Seva Sangh is a social organization serving the society since more than 80 years. We organize the programs and activities in the field of science, economics, arts, culture, health, defense, and women's welfare, etc. Today's session of dealing with lockdown is fifth webinar of our online knowledge series. Earlier, we had organized the lectures on astronomy, 3D printing, climate change, and story of a mango. Today, we will have an interactive session with Mrs. Preeti Rodricks, ma'am. First of all, I would like to introduce her. She is a clinical psychologist, counselor, and soft skill trainer. She is currently working at Holy Cross Convent Special School, Thane, and provide a counseling at Will to Win for personal, group, and family counseling. During the lockdown, she was on a panel of counselor for someone and helpline service and a counselor on call in tie-up with Project Mumbai.org and Prafullata. In today's session, first of all, Madam will give the presentation, followed by the interview. If you have any questions for Ma'am, then you can drop your questions in the chat box. Relevant questions to subject will be asked to the Ma'am during interview. Before starting interview, I would like to request all the participants to keep pencil and a paper handy as Ma'am will do the activity in her presentation. So now I request Ma'am to start with her presentation.
Hello, good morning everyone. Today
Hello, madam, your voice is not audible.
we start this presentation.
Hello. Madam, I'm sorry to interrupt.
As we start
your
our
voice
first
is
slide.
breaking. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Can you just repeat because the audio was not clear earlier.
As we move forward, so as we know, we are now and we will take a situation. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, madam, you can proceed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So as we start, 5 things are happening at your house at the same time. How would you tackle them one by one? The first is the phone is ringing. Second is the baby is crying. Third is someone's knocking or calling you from the front door. Fourth is you hung the clothes out to dry and it's beginning to rain. And the fifth one is you left the tap on in the kitchen and the water is already overflowing. Now, in which sequence would you solve the problem? Write down your sequence from 1 to 5. I've given you an example there. It is 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's just an example. Just take half a minute and write your own answer. Remember, the phone is ringing is 1. The baby is crying is 2. 3, someone's knocking or calling you from the front door is 3. You hung the clothes out to dry and it is beginning to rain is 4. And fifth is you left the tap in the kitchen and the water is overflowing. If you have written your answers on the paper, let us now go and see what is it. Your choice, your chosen sequence determines the priorities in your life. Every individual point represents something in your life. So let us see what were your priorities right now as you gave this small test. This test is by Sigmund Freud. He is the most prominent person in psychology, and he has given this priority test and has been very effective to all people who have used it. The first one is the telephone represents your work. If you've chosen 1 first, telephone represents your work. 2 represents, the baby represents your family. 3, the door represents your friends. 4, clothes represents money. And 5, the tap represents your love life. Now, in whichever order you have written it, determines your priorities of your life, from work to family to friends to money and your love life. The reason for doing something like this is during this lockdown and during this pandemic, we all experience a lot of questions about people, about ourselves, about our families. And so, to start off with understanding where our priorities are right now, and if you are surprised by it, then, or you want to change it, we have to rethink and change ourselves and understand what is really our priorities in life. If this is due because of how you are, is it who you really are? Is the sequence who you really are? Or is it something that you have become with the situations or circumstances that have brought you there? Now, as we also understand this, I'd like to give you a small example of my own personal life. Like once when I was young in school, I went to make lime juice. And instead of making 1 glass, I went to make 1 glass lime juice with 5 lemons. When I tasted it, it was so bitter and sour that I could not have it. I wish I could just remove some of the lime from it and I have the lime juice. But that's just not possible, we all know that. And that brings us to a very important thing in our life. What has gone by cannot be undone. But we can always add and we can make life better. So what I could have done at that point, I could have put 5 glasses of water and may find losses of lime juice for many more people. But sometimes we don't see that. In life too, we can go on by adding more new skills, adding more new things in our lives, new learning, give ourselves a chance, challenges, and fill in more to neutralize the effect of the error, because some things cannot be undone. And with that understanding in mind, I take you to another small introspective mode where I would like you to take a blank paper. You have to write 0 in 1 minute maximum, which you can. Before that, you have to take a target. How many zeros you're going to draw. So on the paper, first write your target. It could be 100, 200, 300, and we will time it for a minute. And start writing 0 once you are asked to do so. And stop once the 1 minute is done. Count how many zeros you have drawn after that. So let us start. Right?
Yes, I will start the timer.
Please start the timer right now.
Yes. Start. Stop.
Now I request all the participants, thank you, Zai. I request all the participants to now count how many zeros you have drawn. You don't need to put it in the chat box or anywhere, you just need to count how many zeros you have drawn and check it with your target. I'll give you a minute for this. Yes. If you have finished counting and you have checked your targets and what you have done, either some people have given a small target saying that they can do less zeros. So we underestimate ourselves in these times. Some people have given too many zeros. We overestimate what we can do in our lives. So it's a thin balance between overestimating and underestimating. And most of the people, if I'm right, have underestimated themselves. If I tell them to give a target, they will give 45 or 100 when they could do 200 zeros or 150 zeros. So in life too, we have to take up more challenges. When we read a question that I cannot, we should challenge ourselves and try our best. And try our best and leave the rest rather than thinking. Most of the battles of ours are lost by overthinking, if I can do it alone. And that brings us to another important part of this presentation. Who do I want to be during this COVID-19 pandemic? Do I want to live in this stage of fear where I just want to know what is happening, pass on messages, pass on WhatsApp, not check the messages well, get excited, want to go out, bring more things, stock up myself, get impatient about a lot of things, complain about how terrible it is getting to sustain ourselves? Or do I want to get into the stage of learning, where I start to go off anything that is out of my control? I try to understand what are my potentials, what I can do, identify my feelings, my emotions, and learn to cope with it. Cultivate awareness to the changing situation and feel better able to manage it. A process. I process the information I am exposed to and filter it before sharing. So when I get on WhatsApp, I don't just pass it on. I wait, I relax, I think it's sensible, and then I pass it on. I also understand the situation and try to reason out. Fear is nothing but the lack of understanding of the reality at times. Because fear is for something which is unknown, which is not known to us, which is not unseen. So instead of living and fearing the unknown, let us live the present. As we say, life is the present, and live for the moment. Let's not worry too much about what we are not in control of. So getting out of fear to the learning, where we learn to understand situations, and then get into the stage of growth, where we empower ourselves. We don't only think about ourselves, but our people around us. How to use our skills, our time, to benefit not only me, my family, but the people around me, my community at large. I try to live in the present moment. I have a passion and empathy towards myself and others mostly. I appreciate and cherish my loved ones. I don't only be on WhatsApp and chats or video calls, but try to reach out to others in a real, truthful way. I try to be positive and maintain an optimistic outlook towards the people around me and the situation that we are in. I practice patience, creativity, and enterprise to face the challenges. And I cultivate modesty and actively listen to others. In a stage of growth where we start to empower ourselves to be a part of the community as a society, that we are having this lockdown to save. This lockdown is to save and protect each and every one of us and our brethren. And at this time, if we don't empower ourselves and reach out to each other, then there is no point of existence and living in fear. And as we empower ourselves, we should also learn to empower the people around us, like our own children. And the children, the most wonderful people of today's time. Kids today are always hooked on to the mobile, to the screen, to the television, to their tabs, sometimes for study, sometimes not for study. What is screen time? Screen time, using devices such as computer, television, or games to consume. And let's look at the time that they should spend on it. What are the effects of it? According to a study in the US, there are two things that the study made on children using mobiles and tabs. The MRI scans found significant in the brains of some children who reported using smartphones, tablets, and video games more than 7 hours a day. The children who reported more than 2 hours a day of screen time got lower scores in thinking and language tests. So this is actually now impacting their brain, their language, and their thinking. How screen time can impact your child's development? Impact on the brain. Let us look at the impact on the brain. Critical period between the birth and 5 years. How important it is to the brain development and how the screen time is affecting that child. Long-term consequences. Trouble making social skills. The brain's frontal lobe is the area responsible for decoding and comprehending social interaction. So you can see this picture, there's an healthy child's brain versus a child's brain on screen. Now, dopamine, which is a chemical that is released to make you happy. But when we're using the screen time, it is released more and more because it's making them happy. But that's not the ideal way how they can help their development, overall development at all. So, just making them feel happy will also lead to other types of disorders related to the mobile phones of today. There's very electronic screen syndrome that we call it. What happens with the electronic screen syndrome? Sensory overload, lack of distorted sleep, hyper-aroused nervous system, impulsive behavior, very moody, unable to pay attention. So what does all this mean? So what we have to do is, we have to see how we can regulate the screen time. What are the things we could do? The brain scan showed that kids with lots of screen time had a premature thinning of the cortex. This outermost layer of the brain processes different types of information from the brain. So you can see this image I have shown here, it's a normal one. And here we can see sensory deprived, what will happen to the brain and how it looks. So why I put this is for us to understand the seriousness of screen time and the seriousness on all children using the mobile phones for a prolonged period of time. Impact on thinking and learning. A decreased attention span. What happens to their thinking and learning? Their attention span is going down. Their underdeveloped delay language abilities. If we say we have children who are able to speak, they are not able to write sometimes even a letter or draft things for themselves. And others, smaller children, are able to not learn language to a great extent, form sentences. Their time spent more on the mobile. Critical thinking and creativity is lost as the attention span goes down to just 8 to 9 seconds, where they could be 20 minutes on, with an active session for learning. Impact on health and well-being. How does it impact their health and well-being? They get more tired, headaches, loss of sleep, ringing in the ears, memory loss, joint pain, fatigue. If this is all we understand, and we understand that the brain is getting affected in a real way, then what is screen time that we should use for kids is a question. 18 months or old, younger children, no screen time at all is the best. The exception is live video chat with family or friends. 18 months to 2 years, limit screen time and avoid solo use. Choose high quality educational programming and watch with kids to ensure understanding. When I say high quality educational programming, with the right language and body language and verbal language, and the virtual pictures that they see also plays a great impact in what children are absorbing and learning. 2 to 5 years, limit screen time to an hour a day. Parents should watch as well to ensure understanding and application to their world. 6 or older, place consistent limits on the time spent and types of media. Don't let screen time affect sleep, exercise or other behaviors. How to cope up with screen time? Set an example. No mobile while eating. Early children are using the mobile because children are using them. So if parents are not using the mobile all the time and not leaving the dining table, or when they are discussing something, they do not move away to take an important call, this sets an example for our kids and they will follow. Play with your kids for at least 20 minutes a day. Even during this lockdown, 20 minutes or more should be spent for playing. If we say that we want to spend our day, there are so many activities to be done. There is so much to be learned and we have to do with our kids. It's most important that we spend time with them. Create a routine, a loose routine, like a play time, a study time, a fun time. And a play time should not be compromised with anything else. It's most important that we play together to understand our kids better, because we are not just bringing up, children are not like a bonsai tree that we want to, take care of them, clip them, shape them, and making them ready for the work environment in the future so that they get better jobs. But we are like wild flowers. We have to nourish them, guide them, love them, and allow them. We are just guiding them. We are leading them to their destination. Do not make them what you want them to become, but support them in what they want to be. And when you spend this 20 minutes of time playing with your children, slowly and steadily there's a bond that is formed in which they're able to open and express everything to you so that you could really help them choose what they like to do. Never use gadgets to pacify your child. When they are very small, it is noticed a lot of parents, out of frustration, they give a mobile to the child. Give them atta, give them a tomato, give them some puzzles or a book or a small book that's available. Give them colors, give them a plain paper, give them a blank sheet, but do not give them a gadget. Make an agreement with your children about how much TV, video games, texting, and internet time is reasonable. So as you build a relationship with them, you'll be able to come to an agreement, and if they want to watch it, when do they get it? How much time do they get it, and why will they get it? If they do their work, if they are active in the house. So you have to also decide, it's TV, it's video games, it's texting, it's what? It's not completely keep them away from everything, but surely monitor it and surely direct them to enjoy the screen time, because we understand that there's a lot of data that children learn from the computer, but that's why monitor what they are watching. And also at the same time, don't completely not give it to them, because in the growing world they need to know a lot of things. There'll be a lot of they'll be very restless if you don't give them to use screen at all. Teach a new skill or learn a new skill and let them learn it from you. So if you don't know, like painting or cooking something, and involve them in your new skill learning that you are in and teach it. How to cope with the screen time? Another most important part of all of this is teaching your children life skills. Life skills to function in society as a whole, to learn to understand What is decision making? What is leadership? What is persistence? What is it to be flexible? What is real sportsmanship? So when you even play a simple game of cards, or bingo, or Scrabble, or you play a game of chess, or Ludo, but anything that you play together, or you play crossword, it's just teaching them everything together: cooperation, flexibility, independence, goal setting, respect. For if they learn to respect you in the right way, not just in the respecting out of fear, they will learn to respect others. Courage. If you give them if you display courage, will your children also have the courage to take up new challenges? Communication. The key to good parenting is nothing but communication. Spend a lot of time during this lockdown talking to them about a lot of things that you always put on the back burner and said that we'll discuss it later. We always say, these are the things we need a lot of time. Cybercrime, sexual issues, what is happening in your neighborhood. We read on the news, they'll ask us questions, we'll talk about it later, we say, let's discuss it. What's happening in the government? How can we help migrants? Who are these migrants? How do they impact us? The economy. Some child asked me, ma'am, do you know in our schools they don't teach us how to earn money, how money can be made. They only teach us about the math and the science and everything. So it's us parents, to use this lockdown as a time where we can do and try out the whole homeschooling, to learn school academics and teach them skills, life skills and home skills that can make them stronger individuals, and use your home as the battleground for discussion and debate. Rather than only watching all the debates on your news channels, use your home to be a place for all the debates, so the children can speak up, listen, and understand from all the debates and discussions. So they will be able to make up their minds well that what is in store in the future for them. We also have to always go on asking our children, how do you feel? And when they say how they feel during this lockdown or other times, listen to them. Just listen. Leave all your work aside and listen to our children. Let them accept their feelings and you to accept that they are feeling like that. Acknowledge what they feel. Empathize with what they feel. Enter the heart and the world of your child through listening and communication. When we were young, we helped our parents fill the water, clean the house, learn the cooking. Let all our children not only be hooked on to their class, online class sessions, which is important, but at the same time, there has to be a time where they learn
Hello.
when we pass, that they feel fulfilled, then this is their task and they will do it. And teach them like how we learned with our parents.
Madam, sorry to interrupt. I think there was some problem and we couldn't hear just the last sentence. If you can repeat.
To become some blind. If the world and the country is talking and a government And our Prime Minister also talks of being self-reliant. Let our homes become self-reliant first. Let our children become self-reliant. If we want them to learn academics to improve their future, this is the most important thing, that they learn to do all the food by themselves, look after the house independently. So if you are not there, how would your child function? Make them completely independent. Some special tips for our differently abled. Develop a routine. Now, when we have differently abled children in the house, small and big, develop a routine and some predictable schedule for them. Plan attainable, feasible goals. Don't make them do too much at once. Using reinforcement systems like tokens and rewards. Identify calming activities like singing, painting, cooking. Reducing sensory input like noise. If your child is having a sensory issue, then avoid using those or use it in minimum and see when the child is getting very affected with it. Make a note of it and try to re-channelize it. Most important, daily physical activity, workout and yoga is uttermost important for every child. Special dealing with the challenging behaviors of theirs. Stay as calm as possible even when they are having an episode. Even if they are getting an episode, you have to stay calm because they can see it in your eyes. Give eye contact. Let the tantrum run its course and let them calm down. Wait for them to relax. Sometimes you need to use your hands to hold them and make them relax. But wait for it to go. Avoid bright or screen time. And if you do this, I will give you the form. Provide gentle statements. We will talk when you are ready. So if they have an episode, if they are getting very upset, if they've got very angry and agitated, allow them to relax. Identify to reach, make smaller attainable goals for our children so that they can move one step at a time. That's it. Another very important thing I have is 5210 every day. Follow the 5210 for a healthier you and for a healthier child. 5 or more fruits and vegetables in a day. 2 hours or less recreational screen time. 1 hour or more physical activity. You can do it in your house also during lockdown, like a little jogging with them, a little workout with them together. And most importantly, no sugary drinks. Put limits on 100% sugar. Keep a water bottle at hand and drink water when thirsty to quench your thirst. Beat your child's resilience every single time. And believe in your inner self. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Madam, for this very insightful session and the presentation. So we will move to the conversation part of today's session, and I hand over the further discussion to my colleague Zai for the interview part.
Thank you, Eva. Ma'am, I would like to begin with the interview session. Can I?
Yes.
In your presentation, as you mentioned about the pandemic, with extension in the lockdown, we are constantly facing the fear or anxiety about, be it about the corona, be it about the job loss, or an overall anxiety about the future. So how we can deal with this anxiety?
See, fear, what is fear actually? Not living with life, not living with life, you are living with your mind. We are not living with our mind, we are always thinking about the future, about something that is going to happen. Fear about what is going to happen next, something that actually does not really exist. Fear of non-essential things is insanity. So, having fear that tomorrow what will happen, what if I go out, something's going to happen, that fear should not be there, because fear will just lead to anxiety and more confusion in our minds. Although we should keep an open mind and we should check this fear. What is this fear for? Is this fear for my child, for myself? And we should rationalize this fear. Rationalize it and try to understand that why I have this fear, and then deal with it. Once we rationalize it, then we will to be overcome it and understand in a better way. Like say if I say I'm scared of going out and I'll get infected, if you put your protective things and you come and wash yourself and take all the precautions, there's nothing going to happen to you. So everything, if you rationalize and we do, then we will be able to handle the fear, which is something which is more created by us. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. So moving on to the next, as you have mentioned in your presentation, reducing the screen time is the main thing which we need to focus on. But with current pandemic situation and the COVID lockdown stage, the online learning is turned out to be the substitute for the traditional educational system. So in this case, how to reduce the screen time? So it will be a really tough task for the parents to control the screen time, as the lessons and everything will be happening online. So how we could deal with this situation?
So using your screen time for online sessions is one, and using it for other watching video games, playing, chatting, texting, that's another thing altogether. So apart from the school screen time that the child is using, even there I would say, like when they're using platforms like Zoom and all, the children I've noticed on I've got to know the children are still chatting with each other. But because the teacher is the host, she comes to know they're chatting. So, but otherwise, apart from the school screen time, study purpose, children should be limited to use their TV, mobiles for other type of games, or if that is reduced, and instead of that, parents should spend time talking to their children, communicating. So what did you learn in the school today? What was going on there? Okay, you don't want to talk what is done in school. Come on, let's leave everything and let's play. Let's keep that 1 hour in the evening for all to play. Play any game that anyone likes to, or just sit and talk. Because this is the most beautiful time of our life where we have time to spend and talk to our children. Otherwise, they're all running for classes. Today they're not running, now you're running to work. So how we can talk to them? The key to any relationship is good communication. And use time to communicate with them. And surely once you start communicating, children do also like talking, and they come back to you again, and I would like to talk about this. And that's how the screen time eventually will be reduced. Yes.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am. So moving on to the next, I would like to ask, in the initial phase of the lockdown, the children were of the opinion that they will get the more time with their parents, as the parents are always busy with their office work and everything. So initial stages of the lockdown, children were happy about the lockdown that they will get the full attention. But as it is going on increasing, the children are also they want to go out, they want to play with the friends. So is there any sort of a study which has which was conducted during this lockdown, particularly about the children? If you could let us know about it, then it will be helpful.
Hello, madam. I think there is some problem with your audio. We are not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
you can speak now. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. Yes. So as I said, in a study it was done that almost 65% of them were bored, and in Indian context, it was found that since we have a lot of people, almost 1.3 billion children or students of ours, who are going, or a lot of children, that's the students who are going to be under the poverty line. There is this fear of helplessness, loneliness, fear of being socially excluded, stigmatized, or separated from their friends because of the poverty. So this is also a very important thing to keep in mind. And as we see that 65% are feeling bored and 70% of the children felt very anxious, it is up to parents to spend more time with them, talking to them, and communicating with them, discussing all issues with them, so that the child is able to express and anxiousness and fear can be resolved. Yes. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're audible. We can move to the next question, Zai.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Please proceed.
ऑडिओ नाही होणार तुझा अनम्यूट तू चॅट मध्ये सांग त्याला.
Hello.
मी सांगू.
Yes.
Zai, you can proceed.
Hello. Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So, in the current scenario, as parents are finding it difficult to keep their child engaged with respect to the differently abled children, how their parents also their parents also having the fear about the future. So, how they can deal with this type of fear or the anxiety about the future of their children?
Yes, so here is a very important thing that we need to keep in mind. All the children that are going to school, the online classes, are doing all of this for a future, for a job, for a secure life, a career. And so also with special children, we need to keep going and reinforcing the studies that they need to do to make them self-reliant so that they will find jobs in the future for themselves, which is going to be a little tough, but sure, if they are trained well, they will stand out because of the skills that they have learned and practiced. And so, as we are telling our school children that they have to keep studying and learning, I would say that even the specially able children need to enhance their skills and keep practicing it all the time, which is most critical for them, so that they too, in due course of time, when things get better, would be able to find a job or a place where they would provide self-employment for themselves. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Can I move to the next question?
Yes.
So, with the lockdown putting the restrictions on our moment, the me time, that is the time with myself and my time, has reduced, and the we time in the family has increased. This we time is helping to improve the family well-being, or it is turning out to be otherwise, because there have been studies informing about the rise in the domestic violence during the lockdown. So, what about this increased we time? Is it positive or negative?
This has both impacts, positive and negative. Positive in the sense that if we can connect with our children and our other family members. Negative in the sense if we overdo it. Anything done in excess is not good. So we have to first of all learn to take care of ourselves. You cannot take care of others or your child unless you take care of yourself. And even when you talk about domestic violence, they will say here that unless you learn to take charge of your life as a whole and say that yes, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to be. If you learn to stand up for yourself, then only will we stand up for our children and for the future generations. And the me time is more important. You have to balance it. There has to be a proper balance. We cannot say that all the time with our children and no time for myself. So a proper balance and give them time too for themselves, where they can unwind and put their thoughts together and have their own playtime. In all of this, we should realize that it's not all the time with the children or all the time with our spouse or our parents, but also
Hello. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
I think there is some problem with the audio and video connection.
some time for ourselves as well is most important. And never forget the me time and looking after your own personal well-being. Let it be physically or mentally. So it could be physically by exercise. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Could you please repeat your last sentence? It was not audible.
So I said we should not only focus on the me time, we have to focus on the me time. That the me time is equally important and most critical for the betterment of not ourselves but others around us.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
So, moving on to the next question, is this pandemic has given the opportunity for the parents to develop the real understanding of their children's needs and the feelings. So, you cannot replace your time with the children with a gift or something like that. So, this pandemic has given us the opportunity to introspect what child actually needs, what are his needs and demands. So, what about this?
That's exactly the whole presentation I have tried to be explaining about how we need to understand ourselves, and then when we understand ourselves, we can understand our children in a better way. And spending time communicating with them and using quality time with them is a good relationship with them. Yes. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes. You're audible,
Yes.
right? You can.
Is there anything else, right?
Yes. So, in current times, parents are having need to work from the home. So, during this daytime, what activities can be given to the children to keep them engaged? As both the parents are busy with their office work and there is no one to take care of the child. So, what type of the activities we can give the child during the daytime so that he or she can be engaged?
See, we have to keep them engaged in various other activities, like even allowing our children to listen to some music or something that calms them down, or watch something that they like to watch, or do some painting, or learn a new skill, or even train them in advance what they could do in the kitchen or in the house. There are a lot of household things that need to be taken care of. So if everyone is given a responsibility, they would have, apart from that time, things to be done in the house that it is their work. Like putting the clothes dry, folding it, keeping the laundry properly, keeping the utensils well, clearing the table. There are a lot of other activities that the children could be involved on a day-to-day basis. So even if the parents are on their calls and doing other things, there could be a list of things that the children could be engaged in. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you're audible. Zai, you can proceed with the next question.
Someone has asked for the 5210 rule. Is 5 fruits or vegetables should be eaten a day? Not more than 2 hours of screen time, not more than 1 hour of, if not more than 1 hour, you can go for more than 1 hour of physical activity, and no sugar. Zero is no sugar. And include a lot of nutritious food, because this is the most key during this pandemic, that if your immunity is good, you will be able to fight on the infection. So good nutritious food, which has 5 fruits and vegetables, a combination of 5 of them, 2 hours or less screen time, 1 hour or more game time, exercise time, and zero sugar. Now they are not able to play outside. The children are not able to play outside. But how you can take care? You can make them. There are a lot of online classes, karate classes, a lot of yoga classes. So together, if parents and children could enroll for some yoga class and practice yoga or physical activity like a little of jogging or a Surya Namaskar, and various things that would help them be active for an hour physically. Good stretching, and as a family, when we exercise, it's more fun. So you could engage in that. Due to lockdown situations, kids are not allowed to play outside. So that is why we do all these type of activities at home. Yes. Anything else more? Sorry?
Yes. So due to the lockdown, the currently classes and everything is happening online. So sometimes the classes go on for 4 or 5 hours, and this is unavoidable. So in this case, how can we control the screen time issue?
See, 4 to 5 hours screen time, which is school related to class, which is unavoidable. But after that, we should see that they do not use it again and engage themselves in other activities in the house. There are, as I've already discussed previously, there are a lot of activities which can be involved in the house. So,
Yes.
in all those activities, there are a lot of things to be done in the house. Why is the mother or father doing everything? Let the child also be shared. Everyone must have their own share of work. Like I know of a place where once I went to my native place when my child was staying there, and My parents had given him this fixed job. You have to put the lights off, you have to put this on, you have to do these. And so there was a set thing of it that he had to do every day. So you have to remove clothes from outside, you have to fold them, you have to keep the hangers in this place. So these set of tasks, if we list down and give it to our children on a daily basis, this will make them cut down on screen time and try to become more self-reliant for the future. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, before concluding our session, if you could explain once again the 5210 rule which you have described in your presentation. If you could explain again.
I just explained it again, Mr. Looking at the questions. I think I've answered the story.
She did. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, Zai, I think you were disconnected at that point. The same time, ma'am took up that question.
Okay,
so she has already answered that.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Yes. Is there anything else more?
So, with respect to the overall presentation and the theme of the presentation, so developing the emotional intelligence, which is managing your own emotion and understanding the emotions of others as well. So, this could be the helpful for parents and child well-being overall. Not particular to the pandemic time, but overall developing this emotional intelligence could be helpful.
Yes. And that is why the me time, that is why playing with your child, understanding emotional intelligence is about spending more time with your children. And not only focusing on the IQ, which is the screen time for studies and online class. So putting a good balance between focusing on improving their academic scores and improving their life skills. Getting a good balance between the two is most important so that their emotional intelligence is taken care. And so lots of discussions with them and debate at home on lots of topics around the world and globe so that our children are emotionally more stronger and not just intellectually more brighter. Yes.
So overall, we could say that this pandemic has given us a time to prepare the children for a life because there will be the uncertainties in the future. So making them not only the study-wise ready for the future, but in real sense, developing the life skills is something we should focus on. Is that on that note? I think we can conclude about the presentation.
Yes, very good. Yes, Rosa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation and your discussion. It was really nice because during this lockdown situation, understanding and managing self and particularly with respect to children is something very difficult. You shared a very nice insights about this topic, and I would like to thank you on behalf of Maharashtra Seva Sangh Vidnyan Vibhag for your presentation and the time. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, madam, and thank you, Zai, for participating in today's session. The discussion was really good. Also, I would thank all our audience members for tuning in. Do not forget to share the feedback. The feedback form will be sent to you over email and WhatsApp. So I would request all the participants to kindly submit their feedback. And once you submit the feedback, the presentation, the session recording would be shared with those participants as well. Thanks everyone for joining in today, and have a nice day.
Thank you.